Welcome everyone. We are now in week 6 of Joint School, and I'm delighted that to everyone out there who's joining us, and especially for Helen Alsop, who's coming back again. Helen's an experienced physiotherapist, and this week we'll be taking us through a bit more advanced workout for the hips and knees than what we've done in previous weeks. So welcome, Helen.
Welcome, thank you. Hello.
Hello, hello. It's great to have you back. And of course, so you know, I'm always keen on waving the safety flag, and perhaps more so this week than in any other video that we've done so far, because this is more of an advanced workout, and you know, really, it is in response to many of the great questions and feedback and suggestions that we've received. And there's a good amount of people out there who've been doing the exercises but have been feeling that they are able to do more. And so this session is very much for you. If you feel that the previous workouts that are available here on the YouTube channel, if they are feeling as though they're a bit too simple, that you feel that there's more in you, then this could be the workout for you. But certainly don't start with this workout. Have a look at the gentler ones first, and this would be something that you would work your way up to. As I understand it, this is sort of intended for someone who is a good well of the way along in terms of the recovery after surgery and getting back to certain activities, or someone from the group who even before surgery is able to maintain a fairly high level of activity, you know, even with the pain and the problems that the arthritis is causing.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So great.
Yeah, well, and as ever, we'll touch on some of the questions that have been sent in to us. So, and thank you as always to everyone out there who is using the Joint School app or just tuning into these videos and sending us feedback and ideas and suggestions for topics to cover and questions to tackle. We've had quite a few in around the idea of exercises, rehab, prehab to do, and what to do. You know, now people are at home and a planned date for surgery may have been cancelled or postponed, and it's a lot about keeping active and really doing as much as we can to make the best of a challenging situation. And some of the questions have been about, you know, more sort of around sort of gentler exercises, questions about the more gentler workouts, and a lot of that has been covered in the previous videos that we've done here together with Helen. So I would suggest to many of you out there who have questions about what kind of exercises can be good to support both, particularly the knees and the hips, that there's some excellent videos if you haven't seen them already, and each one starts off with us touching on a few key questions on that topic. Now, more particularly for those who are a bit more advanced, to have a bit more freedom of movement and who can take on a bit more of a challenge in terms of the knees and the hips, we have had one question sent in particularly about sort of exercise kit that can be useful, that might help as you progress with your exercises. And in particular, the question is around the sort of mini trampoline, these little rebounders, I think some people call them.
Yeah. Well, they're definitely something that the rebounders are definitely things that I use in my rehab when I'm with patients. So I would encourage people to use those. They are, they're not high intensity, high impact rather. So that means that you can start early doing a little bit of jogging, that type of thing on them. So it's a sort of proof of balance stuff. So you can work on your balance on the rebounders. It's good for doing a little bit of gentle jogging, getting that idea of pushing down through your toes and through your feet, getting that feel of what it feels like to be back in that sort of mode. So yeah, I definitely think those are great. And you can do all sorts of exercises off them. You can do lunge type exercises as well. So yeah, definitely something to have a look at. The big physio balls are good for, as long as they're the sort of right height. They're good for doing wall slides. So putting them behind your back and then putting them against the wall, and then doing sort of like wall slides to do squats, because they give a little bit more control and more direction to what you want to do. So those are the then there's the TheraBand is always a good one. I'll show you, there's going to be a couple of exercises we're going to use the TheraBand today, tights or whatever, socks, but yeah, so basically so those are some, and then even just a squashy ball like this is quite a good thing to have around for some of the exercises that you want to do. This is a small, what they call Pilates ball. You can get very easily on the internet. And then, of course, adding weight onto an exercise, so even if it's lower limb, you can still use it. So again, I'll show you a couple of exercises where you can use a weight to add the interest, as it were.
Okay, yeah. So I think that's a good set of examples of different pieces of kit. Of course, there's many exercises that you can do even if you don't have these tools. And I imagine, in particular with the mini trampoline or the rebounder, it's something that most people wouldn't have at home. And so, if you don't have a rebounder or a trampoline, are there ways of achieving the benefits of doing the particular exercises that you would recommend around that?
Yeah, I mean the idea behind the rebounder is, as I say, it's not high impact and high impact. So so you can't really, unless you get I mean, there are various things on the market that cost varying amounts of money that you can use that will take away the impact from doing things. I have used, there's various types of mats and things like that, but they take up room, cost money. So a rebounder is probably the cheapest version of one of those type of things. So I would probably look at something like that first before you look at anything more expensive. But again, as you build up your strength, and in one sense you're building up to go to be able to run or to do whatever you want to be able to do. And I say run again with that caveat of what your surgeon has advised post-surgery. Some are quite happy for you to run, some of them won't be so happy about that. But I think it's still worth getting strong enough to be able to do it, because we're all going to have to run across the road at some stage or run for a bus. So it's worth working towards that, even if we're not actually going to be doing it as a sport.
Yeah, absolutely. But of course, just to flag that again, it will depend on the situation and condition you are in personally before surgery, the details of the pathology and abnormalities that have been addressed, and also of the implant itself. And so there's a lot of different factors that will guide your individual surgeon's advice to you as an individual, and that's the most important. The most important thing and the most important advice to default to in this instance. But absolutely,
yeah.
Hopefully this session will set some goalposts and some general advice around that.
Yeah.
Another really common question that I think is worth digging into again, because it pops up quite a lot, and I think it also goes a bit hand in hand with the idea of being a little bit further on in the post-operative recovery. And that is around swelling. So both after a knee replacement and after a hip replacement, how long typically does it take for the swelling to settle?
Right, I'll address the hip first, because on the whole that's a slightly quicker one. So nowadays, because of the protocol changed regarding blood thinners and things like that you now take or are given during your surgery or after the surgery for a while, there does tend to be a bit more swelling and bleeding around the soft tissues. So it will last for a bit longer. But usually by about the 6-week mark, most people's swelling has gone down with hips. So it tends to start at the thigh, it'll go all the way down your leg, down to your foot, and then out the other side. That's what usually happens. So you get this swollen. So with hips, you get a whole leg can be swollen, and it can be really heavy. But by about the 6 to 8 week mark, on the whole, that is virtually gone. So that's the hip. With the knee, it actually does take a little bit longer. I think it's probably because it's a very small joint and there isn't a lot of soft tissues around it for it to disperse into. So it could last up to a year, actually, off and on. to really get it back to looking like your normal knee, like the other one. But so the rule of thumb as far as swelling and exercise is concerned, even when you're quite a long way down the line, is that you don't really want your knee to be swelling up after exercise for a length of time. Yes, you'll get a little bit, you know, for example, with something like ankle surgery, your ankle will always swell up on a hot day when you've been walking around, and you will want to put it up or put it in some ice or something. And the same goes for the knee in the first few months. You'll want to, it will go up and down quite a bit depending on what exercise you're doing and how much. So it's not usually something to worry about. If it feels tight and hot and, you know, it's not improving, then that is you know, you should go back and talk to your surgeon or your physiotherapist about that. If it's, you know, generally going in the right direction, it feels comfortable, but it's just swollen and it's not quite there, that's usually okay. A little bit of fluid around is quite normal. And I say it can go on for about a year, just off and on, and it might react to, you know, going for a walk up a mountain or whatever. And then it will settle down after a couple of days.
Mm.
Usually about 6 months to a year, it's beginning to go.
And again, that's something we've touched on before there, about generally trying to avoid sitting with both feet down for too long, trying to make the most of elevation, but not necessarily. I think you mentioned this, that, you know, often when you read about elevation, that, you know, the area that you want to reduce the swelling of has to be higher than the level of the heart, which is often the recommendation. But I think you were saying that it doesn't always be quite as aggressive.
Yeah, no, I think that's right. Yeah, I think it doesn't, you know, it needs to be comfortable, and it needs to, I mean, so you don't want to, you know, have them around you, you know, have your leg right up there, because, you know, it's not good for the hip in the early stages. But, you know, later on, it's just really comfort, just making sure that you're just allowing that leg to have a bit of rest, the knee to be a bit rested, and really in the later stage, we talked about ice in other sessions, you know, the later stages, it's just for comfort. It's not physiologically going to change very much, but it will make you feel better. And at the end of the day, that's what we're about. So.
Yeah. Indeed. Is there anything else you'd like to add before I hand over the reins, as it were?
No, I think just today that I'm wearing trainers today because it's a little bit more of a workout. So if you want to go and find some trainers to put on, you might find you're a bit more stable in them for doing some of the sizes. And again, if you've got have a little weight, whether it's canapes or a proper little hand weight, TheraBand, pair of tights or whatever, you don't need them, but just something. It's one of the more say for doing these exercises this week.
Okay, excellent. And of course, so for those starting out, and when we make this video available on the channel, we'll also list the pieces of suggested kit to have ready before you dive into this workout. Fantastic. Right. Over to you, Helen.
Right, lovely. Thank you very much. So we normally just start off with a little bit of a warm-up because we've been sitting around. Mind you, it's a lovely warm day today, so probably our muscles are fairly warmed up already, but it's worth just going through a little bit of a warm-up first, just to get you up and ready to go. So we're going to start again with our roll downs that we've been doing. So just chin to chest, and then just rolling down. At this stage, hopefully, your hips and your knees are got a good range, and you can just work your way down as far as you feel comfortable. Let yourself hang there, breathing in and out, and then you're going to roll back up again. Roll those shoulders back, and then you're going to allow your arms up into the air, and take a deep breath in, even go up onto your toes, and then come back down again. Just breathing in and out. Let those muscles relax a bit before going again. So again, chin to chest, and then rolling down. Letting your arms relax, circle them around. Your knees will be slightly bent. And you may just feel a little bit tight around your bottom muscles. That's fine, but don't force it. And then you're going to come back up, roll the shoulders back, and then up with the arms, and maybe up onto your toes. And then come back down. And then with a bit of marching on the spot. It may be, hopefully by now, you can do this without holding on. If you still need to hold on, that's absolutely fine. Just getting those muscles working. And then using a chair, just going to do a little bit of going up and down on our toes. So I'll just move the camera so you can see a bit more of my legs. That's it. So you're going to go up and down on your toes. Think about using your bottom muscles and then coming back down. Going up, pushing through your feet, tightening your bottom muscles, pulling your tummy in, and then going back down. And you're going up again. Maybe if you can bring your arms up into the air, balance. Think about growing tall through your back, and then come back down again. Do this 5 more times, so going up and going down. And each time think about a different part of your body which the muscles are working, your calf muscles, bottom muscles, or even then growing tall through your back. Try not to let your hips fall forward, so you're leaning backwards. Try to keep everything in line, so you're pushing down through those toes, those calves are working, and everything feels like it's on top of each other. What you're aiming for here is to do about 20, because that shows that you've got reasonable strength in your calf. And if you're really getting back into the sporting arena, you should be able to do 20 on each leg individually. Okay. The next thing we like to do is to do a little bit of balance work. So we're going to just start by standing on the back leg. Just bring your weight back. Just make sure those shoulders are relaxed. I'm just going to move the camera again just so we can see a bit more of me. That's it. So on your back leg, let those shoulders relax. They should try and feel that they come forward slightly so that they're in line with your hips. And then you're just going to bring your knee up on the other side. Think about growing tall and lengthening. And again, you can see by now that you should be able to do this without holding on. There's no harm in having something nearby just in case. But the idea is that you can do this on your own. Bring the leg back, down, and then swap legs. You're going to come back onto the back leg, bring your leg up. And again, that feeling of pushing down through the outside of your foot, the middle of the foot, growing tall through your tummy muscles, bottom muscles, and then come back down. Swap legs again. So we're now back on the left leg. If you're me, get your weight back on the back leg, and again lift the leg up. You can bring in your arms a little bit, just to see if you can manage that. Get the idea of moving other parts of you while you're still balancing. And swap legs again. So back on the right leg, and bringing in leg. Think about growing tall, bringing your arms in, and then coming back down. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to go take our weight forward so have one leg forward, one leg back, and you're going to bring your weight onto the forward leg this time. And then you're going to reach forward as if you were reaching for something, and have the other leg out behind you. You can also do a little knee bend, See if you can come back up. Go up and down on one leg. If this is too difficult, you just stay with the legs straight. You just stay again for about 20 to 30 seconds. And then you're going to come back onto the back leg, stand tall, roll those shoulders back, maybe bring your arms up in the air, and then come back down. And again, going forward onto the same leg again. You're going to reach forward, leg out behind you. And again, if you're able to, if you're advanced enough, you can just do some little knee bends. Just slowly, perhaps do 3. And then come back onto the back leg. We can swap legs. So you're going to again have to be, so this time I'm bringing my weight onto my right leg. Forwards, and again, you're going to reach forwards. Then maybe practice a couple of knee bends if you feel confident enough. Reaching forward. Remember, the bottom muscles working, tummy muscles, and then coming back. Just remember that these exercises shouldn't be being painful. They might feel difficult, but they shouldn't be painful. Some of you, these will be the first time you've done these exercises, but just make sure they're not painful. Again, reaching forward, weight on the front leg. And then come back and stand. And the next exercise is it's going to bring it down so you can see my lips, you can't see my feet. All right, so let's just get down so you can see my feet. And you're going to stand one leg in front of the other. And this is quite a nice exercise just to practice, seeing whether you can stand with one leg in front of the other. It's usually more challenging for the back leg, but the smaller the base, the harder the exercise. Then you can swap legs. You need to be growing tall again. Think about your tummy muscles, bottom muscles. So as you can see, a lot of this session is all about balance, because balance is important for better exercise. So one of the things that I like to give my patients to do is to walk backwards. So again, you can either walk one foot right behind the other. And then you can walk forwards, one in front of the other. A bit like walking along a tightrope. Fortunately, without the Niagara Falls underneath us. These are all good exercises to do. If you've had one hip done, you can stand on one leg and you can use the other leg to sort of go round in circles. If you've had a hip replacement on both sides, I wouldn't advise doing this as an exercise for the hip that's been done. It's quite nice just to, again, to challenge the leg that's been operated by doing some different movements. So you can take your leg back, out to the side, forwards, you can go around the clock. So there's various types of balance work that you can do. So forwards, swapping legs, backwards, doing star movements. So these are all the balance exercises that I find useful to do with my patients. The next thing is to think about is how are we going to progress with getting down onto the floor, or getting for those shots when we're playing tennis or playing our golf where we're swinging and rotating. So that's what we're going to look at next. And in particular, we're going to have a look at, start with some, so if you've got a weight or 2 cans of beans you can use, you're going to go down into a squat. Again, just go down as far as you feel comfortable. move the camera, sorry. But you're going to go down as far as you feel comfortable. Just let the weight hang down. And as you come up, you're going to put the arms up in the air. So you're going to come down, squatting, keep the weight on the back of your heels. And then you're going to come up and right up. Going down, and then coming up. I'll show you my legs a bit more. Go. So we're going to come down. Just you can see if I turn sideways, that my knees are going forward, my bottom's going back. And as I come up, I'm coming straight up, and bringing the arms up in the air, with or without the weight. So we're going to do 5 more of those. Try and keep the weight equal on both legs. And then you're going to come back up. Down again. 2. Down. And up. And this is an exercise you can do against the wall with the big ball behind you that I talked about earlier. So it's just a... and 1 more. So there's the squats to get you into that mode. And then we're going to come on to doing like I think we've done before, which is a split squat, where you're just going to do like a curtsy. So you want your you're going to have your weight on the front leg, your toes be on your toes on the back leg, and then you're just going to drop down into a curtsy. Again, because you want the center of gravity to be down the center, it means your knee will go forward, your bottom will go slightly back. So you're doing a sort of movement like that. So we're going to do about 10 of these on one side, and then we'll swap sides. And again, you can go down, you can make it more difficult or easy, depending on how you look at it. So you might want to go a bit further down if you're that far down, and come up. But just be, particularly for the knees, just be careful how far you're going down. Certainly just do it really slowly to make sure, I turn forwards, just to make sure that you're really keeping that knee in centered and not allowing it to fall inwards. All right, so you want it out, so the weight should be on the outside of your foot as you go up and down. You may find if you're the back leg, you're getting a bit of a stretch around the kneecap, so that may be a limiting factor for you at this stage. That's fine, just go down as far as you feel comfortable, front and back. And swap legs. So remember to have the weight on the front leg, have your toes, and again, how far you take your leg back is up to you. Have it out a bit further if you want to have a wider base, and then you're going to go down and then come up. So this is quite gentle, but it's a good warm up for what we're going to do next. So we're going to do quite a lot of exercises involving squatting. And that's because a lot of sport that one goes back to involves some form of getting down towards the floor. Playing tennis, playing doubles tennis, even playing golf to some degree. You're going to. So again, I'll go to the side so you can have another reminder of what it looks like from the side. You can, if you're a hip, you may be able to go down a bit further. Just remember, you don't want your knee going beyond your toes. So keep that weight and the center of gravity going down. Okay, so now we're going to have a break from that. Give ourselves a break. We're going to do something a little different, but still on the same theme of using the whole body, because that's what we do when we do sport. So you're going to use if you want to use a weight, you can. If you prefer not to, that's fine. The other thing you can use is some TheraBands, which you can put around your foot, attach around the foot and then pull up. So there's a variety of different ways of doing this exercise, or you can do it with a free hand. So what you're going to do is you're going to have one leg in front of the other. So if you're you've got the weight in your right arm, have your left arm forwards. You're going to bend down as far as feels comfortable. Then you're going to come up like over a beach ball, and then reach up to the ceiling, and then just turn at the waist. So I'm going to allow you to see the top of me, because I think that will be the most useful bit now you've seen the bottom. So we're going to remember, left foot forward, if you're in the hand in the right hand, reach down. As you come up, you're thinking about going around a beach ball, reach up for the ceiling, and then turn from the waist. Everything else should be relaxed. Probably feel your tummy muscles working a little bit, maybe your bottom muscles on the back leg. Then you're going to come back. We're going to do 2 more of those. So reaching down with both arms, then coming up, and then reaching up and around. This would be good for the golfers as well as for the tennis players. Then we'll swap legs. So I'm just going to remind you of where we're going from. So you're going to come down to so now we've got the weight in the left arm, reaching down for the right foot. And then you're coming up and round, and then it's turning at the waist. Then reaching down, then coming up, reaching up to the ceiling, and then turning from the waist. It's also good for the swimmers who like doing backstroke. So it's a good way of just getting some rotation and some control. So we're going to go down again, going up, round, up to the ceiling, and then rotating. So it's nice control. There's a nice diagonal control there. It just gives us a break from all that squatting and lunging backwards. So the next thing, which is quite a nice exercise to do, is to do some lunging. So we start on the back leg, and what you're going to do is you're going to go forward and down, and then come back. So actually, there's a lot of work going on with back leg, and the forward leg, you're just pushing back, as it were. So forward and down, forward, lunge, and down. I'll move the camera so you can see my legs a bit better. So we're going to go down. Lost my balance, sorry. Down and up. So this is actually what we call a lunge, when you go forward and back. And again, you're not really wanting that knee to go not further than your foot. It's just toes rather. You're just going down and coming. And this can be moved, so we'll change to the other side. Just getting used to that idea of balancing in a different position. Think about if you had your tennis racket or your golf club, that sort of movement. And then from another perspective, it's quite nice sometimes to turn your feet. I'll just show you my feet. So having your feet turned out, the face away, and then you can go in one direction and back, and then in the other direction and back. Right across. The knee should be following your toes, the direction of your toes. Again, it's a nice stretch through here, as well as, so just make sure that your knees coming over the toes, not wandering inwards or doing some strange idea. The bottom should be feeling tucked in. And then again, that can be moved. You can put TheraBand all around your ankles. And then you can take a step to the side and take a step back the other way. And this is nice for working your bottom muscles. I will just, now you see what to do. I'll show you my hips. It's going to go out to the side, step across, out to the side, step across. Don't have to start with anything too hard. Just a gentle TheraBand work nicely. Just to the idea of transferring your weight from one side to the other. One each way. And when we're doing this, we just want to make sure, again, just make sure that you're leading with the heel and a straight foot, not with your toes pointing out to the side, all right? Because that's going to get these muscles working best. Just check on that as you're doing it. Great. Then the next exercise is one that you can do a traveling lunge type exercise. It'd be difficult to show in this small space, but if I just sort of show you the first part, so you're going to go into a lunge position, and then you're going to come up, and then you put your leg down and start again. So we'll just go back. Show you again. I'll go a bit further. Be able to get another one in. Go further back. Yeah, so I go further back. Here we go. Over the chair. Right. So you're going to go across, lunge, come up. Okay. I swap, go forwards. You can works better probably. So you're going to go forwards, up, forwards, up. So you're getting a bit of balance, but you're also getting a bit of traveling. All right. We'll go backwards, show you again. So it's forwards, up, stay there, forwards, and up. You can tell that it's quite challenging at times. There you go. And then you can do a backward lunge from there. Knee up, and then down and back. That's quite a nice exercise to do. So again, you can bring up, then back, up, then back. Back. And stop. So there's a variety of different exercises there, of different types of lunging positions, squat positions, which all are helpful in getting yourself worked up for doing some sporty type stuff. And then now we're going to find a chair to sit on. And it's important to remember that we, like early when we were standing, we did some rotation. We also do need to do rotation and sitting as well. Keep our backs mobile, because after you've had knee and hip problems, you tend to do a lot of overusing. You'll get quite stiff in this part of you. So again, you'll probably remember from last time, I usually put a TheraBand or something around my legs just to be able to push out, arms across your chest or around your waist, and then you're just going to turn and then come back to the middle and then turn the other way. And then the other good one is to just learn how to use these waist muscles that we have, just to tip from side to side. It's not a falling, it's a lateral glide across, using these muscles here. See, I'm shortening and lengthening. Then you can add in your arm, and you can add in the arm the other way. Keep those legs out. If you're using your bottom muscles. And remember, you're moving centered on your bottom, so you're not too far forward. All right, you want to be nice and centered. Feel like you're grounded through those bottom muscles, through your hips. Just going to reach. Remember to keep those legs being pulled, make those muscles work. It's quite a nice way of just getting that idea, or maybe just putting your hands onto your shoulders. These are all different ways of doing the same exercise, but it's definitely worth having a go with that. So after doing a little bit of that, you may well want to do a bit of stretching. So we're going to do some stretches for our calves and then for our quadriceps. So the calf muscles I think we've done before, which is over by the wall, one leg behind, one leg in front. And you're going to push the heel into the floor, push your hip forward. You want to hold it until you sort of feel that sort of feeling that the muscle's giving a little bit. Feel like you're feeling that length. You feel that your back's relaxing into it even. Foot's letting go. Make sure that foot is spreading out as you're doing it. And you can swap legs. Same idea. So leaning forward, heel to the floor, let that foot spread out. Grow tall out of your hip, push the foot into the floor. You have a nice stretch on the front of your thigh, as well as down the back of your calf. Then for your quadriceps, which is the front of your thighs, just hold on to something. Just get hold of your foot, bring it up. For people with knee problems, you may not be able to get that far, so I'll show you what you can do for that. So instead, get use a chair, and you can just bend and then just go forward. Not very helpful, is it? So, there we go. So you're going to put your knee on a chair, and then you can just stretch forward like that. So that should get most people who've got knee problems. You don't have to take too much weight through the knee. If you're worried about that, if you do it, shouldn't be too much weight through the knee. Most of the weight will be going through the leg that you're standing on. So that's one way of doing quadriceps if you haven't got good knee, you haven't got quite that knee flexion yet. So remember to always do the other side. Okay, and then lastly, we're going to get down on the floor. So if you find yourself comfortably on the floor, just going to show you a couple of exercises that you may find helpful even at this stage. So we're on the floor. Sorry. So you're going to be bend up. Feel your pelvis back. Your top hand underneath your head. And then you can just push yourself up. And then slightly back down again. Pushing down through your feet. pushing your knees away from you towards the other side of the room. And just roll. You can see that I'm doing it quite slowly. And goes with the hips. Right down here, you can just roll out to the sides. Nice. And just make sure that you're not centered on the tailbone. Just really muscles relax through that. One leg goes straight. If you're a hip, just with still be thing to do. Your knee back towards your a nice bit of a stretch. And here, that's working towards and the knee working towards. With the other leg, so the leg in that position that's comfortable. Push this one straight so that you tighten your knee. Get a bit of a stretch through the whole leg. Maybe that we have both done or both at some stage. Leg, gently over. The other way back. Bring your legs up again. Leg fall out and then just gentle rolling. Don't go too far. Again, to move the waist. But you can explore how far you feel comfortable to go. Remember, and then again, just one leg up, and then you're going to let one leg, keep one leg still, and then one leg go out, and then back to this again, how to move it with our core, 5 to 1. Hands on your pelvis, make sure it's not moving. Centered on that tailbone. Back the other way. Going back to the bridging exercise, it also added a bit of arms, so pelvis rolling up, and arms up, and then keeping them up as you go down. Rolling, your arms up, push down through your feet, arms in the air. May want to explore how far you can go back. Middle, fall back down again. Bring your arms down. The variations of these. Some people even like to go up onto their toes on one side. Make it a bit more difficult. And go down. Another variation is to do it on one leg. Just lift up on one leg. Really today it's all about just seeing where you're at. You find this still can you just do it. That's absolutely fine. For those who can manage one on one leg, one way of doing it. One leg straight up there, with the knee, and the other leg. Swap legs. All three of those. And then we'll be ready to do a little bit of relaxation before we finish the session. This is the first time you've done something a little bit more advanced. You may feel a bit stiff tomorrow and the next day, which is fine. But so just be careful just be careful not to overdo it in the next couple of days, as this is your first time today doing some exercises. But find somewhere comfortable now to sit or to lie, and we'll just finish off with a bit of relaxation before we finish our session. So as you're just getting yourself settled, just going to breathe in and out. Let your chest rise and fall. Probably your breathing rate is probably a little bit higher today because we've done quite a bit of exercise. So as you're breathing in and out, think about trying to slow it down. Think about where your back is on the floor or against the chair. Are you fairly centered? Are you relaxed against the chair and the floor? You just want to keep that breathing just gently up and down. Breathing in for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then breathing out 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And just scan your body, see how it feels. You may just feel a little bit tight or tense. So we're just going to work our way from our feet. You're going to pull your foot and toes up towards the ceiling. Push them away as far as you can. Do that one more time. And then just let them rest on the floor. Let's see how they feel. Then come to your knee and thigh muscles and just tighten them as hard as you can. And then just let go. And again, just tighten those thigh muscles and then let go. And just let your knees roll in and out or floppy, and let them just rest. Go to your bottom and pelvis. Just pull those muscles in around your bottom, around your tummy, as hard as you can again. Then feel the difference when you let go. Just let your legs go all floppy. Then you're just going to go to your shoulders and just push them against the floor or the back of the chair. Feel what it feels like to have them really tight, and then when you let go, give your shoulders a little bit of a wriggle. See how that feels. Then you're going to push the back of your head into the pillow, the floor. Just try and stretch the back of your neck. And then again, just let go and let everything go all loose. And again, go back to your breathing. And again, breathing in and out. Slowing it down as you go. As you're lying there, just scan your body again. And to see if there's any change from when you 2 minutes ago. Slowly relaxing, slowly drifting to a state of relaxation. And then just think about a walk that you do by somewhere nice, maybe through some woods or by a river, along the seashore, along a beach. Or you may want to think about playing golf on the golf course, getting back to playing tennis with your friends. They're all good things to think about when you're lying there, just letting your muscles relax. Great, thank you very much.
And thank you, Helen. That was wonderful. I'm extra relaxed today because we earlier I had the pleasure of joining Chasen, who took us through a meditation session. So I'm feeling very serene.
That will be very good for those in pain,
yeah,
I'm sure.
Indeed.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. And as I think this workout that you've just taken us through can also be really helpful. But again, just to wave those safety flags, it is more advanced than what we've done previously.
Yeah.
Anything you'd want to say? Any further comments about this particular workout?
I think really it's the depth of your squat really depends on how your knee is feeling, what the range you have. So to do those sort of exercises, you probably do need to have a good, probably 130 degrees. So you really, we're talking about, the sort of 4 to 5 months down the line, as opposed to, before 12 weeks. Because at 12 weeks, we know that things are on the whole are settled, that we're not going to run into any problems. You might feel a bit stiff or a bit tight, but you're not going to do any damage. So these exercises are definitely for the sort of 4 to 5 months onwards, because on the whole you can start being a bit more active from about 6 months. Probably, I mean, if it wasn't for lockdown, I expect quite a lot of people would have been out on the golf course if that was their thing. And so obviously this is something that you can work towards.
Yeah, and of course, just to do a bit of a recap to the previous session where we touched on the degrees and the range of movement after knee replacement in particular, 150 degrees. That's sort of getting close to a full.
It's not that. We work in the opposite direction, we physios. So so that's 90. That's 0. And then that's what we call 130. So it's like on one of those whatever they're called, protractors.
So 90 degrees. That's a sort of the right angle bend of the knee, which is the key thing to achieve quite early on. And at 130 degrees, you're kind of getting the full range, really. Yeah.
The thing is that if we're doing things like doing the stairs, you need a good 125. You need about, you can get away with 120, but on the whole, you really want 125 to 130 to be able to do the stairs easily. So when you're looking to do sport or to be doing something more active, then you're looking, at that sort of 130 degrees, so that that you can get, you've got good strength. To have good strength, you need the range of movement to go with that strength. So that's something to be aware of when you start doing these exercises. Is that, hopefully all the people that come today are at that end, and that's why they joined us today. But for those who perhaps just wanted to come and watch and see what they can look forward to, this is, these are sort of the things that you will be able to do from about 4 to 5 months on. And
there's one thing that you highlighted a few times, which I think it might be worth just doubling back on again, because I know it sort of surfaces quite often with the various exercises and lunging exercises and squats and things like that. And that's the idea of keeping the knees in line, not letting the knees drift out or in, and then also not letting the knees drift beyond the tips of the toes.
The toe, So it's just to remind you, it is. So it's that. So that is wrong. That is wrong. And that's right. So, and as far as going with my toes, so you're going back. So you're really you're making sure that you're sort of going down here, rather, so that you can see that my toes are there. I'm not going any further forward than that. Okay.
I'm not pushing the knee too far.
No.
And that's to avoid sort of undue strain.
That's to avoid too much. It's really to avoid the problems with, some people get problems with their kneecaps if you do too many deep lunges. So that's why I'm not encouraging you to do deep lunges as such. You go with what feels comfortable. If you go too far forward, then you're sort of putting a bit more pressure on the kneecaps. But if you go down the center, you'll feel much more that you're working your bottom muscles. So that's sort of the key to remember, is if you're working your bottom muscles, you're probably doing it right. If you feel the pressure through your kneecaps, then you're with the front leg, then that's probably going too far forward.
No, well, good stuff.
Yeah.
I think that's been a great workout. Is there anything else? Any final points before we?
No, I think that's about it. I mean, there'll be stuff on the website with this particular Joint School of. But perhaps a few extra exercises that you can add in, and maybe how many reps to do and how to work it forward. So we can do that for you.
Yeah, we'll add some information in the description below this video on our YouTube channel, and also expand on the note that goes alongside this on the Joint School live link on the Joint School website. Yeah. Fantastic. So thank you ever so much, Helen. It's been a real treat again this session. And equally, thank you everyone who's joined us. Thank you so much for sending in questions and suggestions. Please keep them coming. Let us know how you find these sessions. Let us know what you find useful. Let us know what we can improve. And equally about the app. We're getting really nice feedback about the Joint School app, which is free for anyone to sign up and use at JointSchool.app. And it's a lot of fun just to hear that it's a resource that people are finding useful and helpful in different ways. And we look forward to working with you all to make it even better and to do what we can to provide some support and useful information.
Yeah, great.
So okay, well, until next week then, everyone. Be well, stay safe, and keep
care.
work.
Yeah, great. Bye.
Bye-bye.